All right, let's jump right into this. Now, I know we've all been feeling the burn of subscription fatigue lately, right? Especially in the dev space. It's like 20 bucks a month for this tool, 50 bucks for that API. Man, it just adds up incredibly fast. But what if I told you about an AI coding agent that is completely 100% free? I'm talking no subscription fee, no API key, and absolutely no credit card required to get started. Honestly, in the current AI development world, that sounds literally too good to be true. But today, we're taking a close look at a tool called FreeBuff. It's hitting the market with some seriously bold claims, and it's kind of shaking up the whole developer community.
And that brings us to the absolute boldest assertion of them all. Is a free AI coding agent actually up to 10 times faster than Claude Code? Now, we all know Claude Code is a heavy hitter, right? It's an established, highly capable premium tool. So claiming that a free alternative can beat it by an order of magnitude in speed, that is a monumental statement. So today we're going to structure our investigation around that exact question. We'll explore what this tool actually is, how the tech under the hood operates, the super clever business model keeping it alive, and whether the day-to-day reality actually lives up to this wild hype.
So what is it? Well, FreeBuff is essentially a terminal-based AI coding agent. But it's not just some random weekend side project. It's actually the ad-supported version of a tool called Codebuff from a Y Combinator-backed startup founded by James Grugit. And that YC backing? That's really important context here. It instantly lends credibility to something that might otherwise seem, well, a little sketchy. It means there's real Silicon Valley infrastructure and funding behind it. The core promise is super straightforward and incredibly enticing. Instead of you paying a heavy monthly fee, the operational costs are covered in a totally different way, which we'll unpack in just a minute.
Because there's literally zero financial barrier to entry, the adoption rate has been nothing short of staggering. Over 185,000 developers have already jumped on board and started using FreeBuff since it launched in March 2026. Think about that for a second. In the niche world of specialized terminal-based developer tools, acquiring nearly 200,000 users that quickly is a massive signal of market demand. It basically proves that developers are absolutely hungry for capable, free alternatives to those pricey subscription models dominating the industry right now.
And look, this traction, it isn't just a fleeting viral trend either. FreeBuff has quickly crossed 8,000 stars on GitHub. And as we know, in the dev ecosystem, GitHub stars are basically the ultimate currency of trust and community validation. It proves developers aren't just downloading this thing once, poking around and trashing it. They're bookmarking it, following the development cycles, and actively engaging with the project's codebase. That kind of sustained interest is a really strong indicator of utility.
Moving on to our next section, the multi-agent architecture. To understand how they can even attempt to claim such massive speed advantages, we kind of have to forget the traditional single-model paradigms we're used to seeing. Most AI coding tools rely on one monolithic model, right? You give it a prompt, and it spits out an output directly. But FreeBuff completely flips the script by coordinating a relay race of multiple specialized agents. Let's imagine you ask it to build a new login page. Step 1. The file picker agent sprints into action, remarkably scanning your entire codebase in like 2 seconds to find exactly what files matter. Then, step 2, the planner agent takes the baton, breaking the objective down into a logical, ordered blueprint. Step 3 is the editor agent, which goes in and makes precise, surgical code edits instead of lazily trying to rewrite entire files from scratch. Then, step 4 brings in the reviewer agent. This is your quality control, inspecting the output for bugs before anything is ever saved to your disk. And finally, step 5 is the browser use agent, which can literally automate a web browser to test that newly built login page live. And as they say, this teamwork-based approach is the real secret behind FreeBuff's speed and accuracy. By breaking down the incredibly complex, nuanced process of coding into these specialized micro-tasks handled by dedicated agents, FreeBuff operates with a level of efficiency that single-prompt models really struggle to match. It's essentially an orchestrated, high-speed assembly line for your code. Every single agent has one specific job, executes it perfectly, and passes it down the line. This minimizes hallucinations and just absolutely maximizes overall momentum.
Next up, the business model.
Now, of course, whenever we see a powerful tool offered at zero cost, natural skepticism kicks in. The immediate fear is, am I secretly paying with my data? Developers are notoriously protective of proprietary enterprise code, and rightfully so. A security leak would be catastrophic. However, the company explicitly states that user code is not stored or used for AI training. This specific privacy guarantee is absolutely the make-or-break factor for anyone considering adopting the tool. So instead of data mining, how do they keep the lights on? Well, the operational costs are covered by displaying small, unobtrusive text ads directly in the terminal while you work. That is the grand trade-off here.
And it's interesting because we've actually seen this attempted before in the developer space with an older tool called AMP Code. Now, AMP Code also tried an ad-supported model, but it ultimately shut down after just a few months. FreeBuff, on the other hand, it's currently running successfully and has been operating smoothly for quite a while now. We all know developers generally loathe ads with a burning passion. But, it turns out we might just be willing to tolerate a tiny line of text in our terminal if it saves us $20 to $50 every single month. It's proving to be a surprisingly sustainable model, and it's thriving across multiple surfaces, expanding all the way from the command line interface to a desktop beta, a web app builder, and even a cloud sandbox.
All right, let's get into the benchmark battle. So it's time to investigate that massive viral claim from their GitHub README that we talked about at the very beginning. To back up the assertion that FreeBuff is 5 to 10 times faster than Claude Code, the company relies on an evaluation suite of over 175 coding tasks. And when looking at these internal benchmarks, Codebuff actually scored a 61% success rate across the tasks compared to Claude Code's 53%. Just to add some technical depth here, a coding task in these evaluations is typically a tightly defined challenge. We're talking things like refactoring a specific React component, resolving a known GitHub issue, or generating boilerplate with complex dependencies. Beating a premium tool on an evaluation suite of this scale, that is an undeniably impressive feat for a completely free application.
But, okay, we definitely need to impartially inject some necessary skepticism here. These are internal company metrics. It is their own evaluation suite. While those numbers are genuinely exciting, we have to remember that internal benchmarks almost always run in pristine, highly controlled, isolated environments. And let's be real, that is vastly different from dropping an AI agent into a chaotic 10-year-old legacy codebase filled with undocumented quirks and spaghetti code. Most independent developers generally agree that for those heavy production-level tasks, paid tools are still considered the more reliable choice for now. So yes, FreeBuff is incredibly fast, but your real-world mileage may definitely vary compared to tightly controlled tests.
Which brings us to the target audience. If independent developers still prefer paid tools for the real heavy lifting, where exactly does FreeBuff fit in the ecosystem? Well, it's best viewed as a brilliant complementary option. Imagine a computer science student bootstrapping their very first app without any budget. Or picture a senior dev on a Sunday afternoon who just wants to quickly prototype a Python script, but doesn't want to deal with expensing a corporate API key or signing up for some new subscription trial. For beginners learning how AI coding works, for students, for budget-conscious developers, and for rapid personal prototypes, this multi-agent setup is an absolute powerhouse. It gives you advanced capabilities with literally zero financial friction. So FreeBuff is entering the market with bold claims, a massive and rapidly growing user base, and a genuinely fascinating relay race architecture of specialized agents. And the trade-off is just a few text ads in your terminal to keep the servers humming. It is a grand experiment in making advanced AI development accessible to absolutely everyone. But it also raises a much bigger thought for us. If ads in the terminal become the new normal, what does that actually mean for the future of developer tools and open source monetization? Will an ad-supported terminal become your new daily driver? Honestly, it's just one simple NPM command away from being installed on your machine right now. So the real question is, are you ready to test it out and see if the hype matches your reality? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring.